Hey guys, it's Mike Sasson, The Mike Sasson Show. You got anything planned September 30th? Well, now you do. It's National Podcast Day, and me and a bunch of other podcasters are going to be all around Millvale performing our podcasts for your entertainment. I'll be at Cousins Lounge at 6 p.m. performing. Come on out, say hi, be part of the show. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, me, Mike Sasson, and The Mike Sasson Show will be on live at 6 p.m. at Cousins Lounge here in Millvale. Love to see you out there.
All right, welcome back. He is a professional golfer. He teaches golf, and he's a good guy, friend of mine, Matt Gribshaw, on the phone right now. You competed at the Western Pennsylvania Golf Association, also the Pennsylvania Golf Association, so it's real awesome to get your perspective here, Matt. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, Brian. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, my pleasure. I want to get your thoughts on the passing of Arnold Palmer. And first off, as a golfer, I have to ask the question. I asked Matt Geica this question, but maybe you have a different perspective. Do you think Arnold Palmer had a bigger influence on the world through his game of golf or through the invention of Arnold Palmer's iced tea, which I'm a big fan of because anytime you go to like Sheetz or something and you look at the teas and there's nothing there you want, you can always count on this nice blend of a lemonade and iced tea mixture.
Oh, right on. I love an Arnold Palmer. I think everyone from this area does, as far as the iced tea and the lemonade goes. But definitely golf, man. I mean, he's pretty much taken a sport, like you guys said earlier in the podcast, taking a sport from low-paying purses, grinding week from week, not knowing, if you're going to have enough money to get by, to now what it is, where they're making $1 million, $1.5 million a week. I mean, he's a marketing genius. I personally had the opportunity to meet him about 2 years back. We were up in Latrobe. I was caddying for two good friends of mine, and it was a local event that he basically invites the 10 best amateurs to compete against the 10 best pros in our section. And my friends introduced me to him, and right away I felt like I was at home. I mean, the guy's warm, he's caring, he's humble, he's everything that everyone's ever said about him. Just a class act.
Yeah, you could just tell. You can tell a lot by watching somebody, and you could just tell from his mannerisms and the way he acted that he seemed genuine. You can a lot of times pick up when someone seems like a phony, but he always came across as real to me, so it's good to hear that is the case. You mentioned he was a marketing genius. Can you elaborate on that? Because he, for many of our listeners who may be millennials, he kind of hit his rise before we were really around to realize what he did and how he changed the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've been watching a lot of the coverage lately on the Golf Channel as far as like his career, and last year they played some pretty epic footage of his life, and as far as marketing goes, it's just amazing that the guy took products that aren't even associated with golf, completely out there, Pennzoil, like all these different kinds of products. He put his face and his name on those products at a time when TV was just getting started. And it was just amazing to me to see that in a sport that really wasn't glorified, he put glory to it. He really changed the face of how you would look at a golfer and how you would, how you would just pretty much see in his works that he was just a commercial genius. I mean, he made $2 million throughout his career.
Mm-hmm.
Now, nowadays, that's not a lot of money for these players. But throughout his career, he only made so much playing. He made the majority of his money in doing the advertising, in his acquisitions, in his airport, in his country club at Latrobe, at his country club down in Bay Hill. I mean, it's just, to me, a guy like that who has a lot of money could have been like one of those people that shined away from the limelight. But here he is, putting everything he has into, building a better game for the rest of us to enjoy.
We'll talk about his impact. You live in Westmoreland County. It's where I grew up at. Talk about his impact on Westmoreland County and how he has built up Latrobe. I mean, you go through Latrobe and you can't drive a few hundred feet down the road without seeing his name somewhere.
Right. I mean, yeah, he has a dealership out there as well, and anytime you're in Latrobe, there's memorabilia hanging at if you go, like you said, to Sharky's, there's signed autographs of him there. Anytime I've ever played golf in or around Latrobe in Greensburg, when you walk in, there's a signed picture of him saying, best wishes, or, it was nice to meet you. Like, it's amazing the reach that the guy had.
I think it's amazing. Go ahead.
I think it was amazing that he was able to be reached.
Yeah.
Even in his later years. I mean, like I said, I met him late in his age. He was 85. This was 2 years back. And he was frail because he's an older man.
Sure.
And, time catches up with everyone. But it's almost like when I shook his hand and I introduced myself to him, it was just like an immediate connection. He looked you right in the eye. He said it was nice to meet you. He called me Mac, not Matt, but he called me Mac, and I wasn't about to correct him. Like it was, and he was kind of like a grandfather to a lot of us. If that makes any sense.
Sure.
He was somebody that you looked up to, iconic. Someone that started from basically nothing and just took the world by storm.
How did he influence you personally?
Me personally? Like I said, I just met him about 2 years ago.
But you know of him, and he's had such an influence on the game at large. It's kind of like, there's different people on the radio who I've never met, but their work has influenced me still.
Right. Well, as far as, watching highlights of him, seeing him, win golf tournaments, promote golf, promote the game, promote the business side, showing all the players nowadays how you're supposed to, act, how you're supposed to, respond in certain situations where, like, the media is on you. And just an overall sense of this guy was a great guy. I mean, he'd shake your hand. He'd stop in the middle of a round and come over and do autographs. I mean, nowadays, I go to PGA Tour events, and guys are walking straight down the middle of the fairway. There's hardly any fan interaction. When this guy played, like, that's why he has an army.
Sure.
He would come out, he would go out of his way to make you feel special. So, I mean, I haven't seen the likes of him on the tour nowadays, or for that matter, anyone that really has done what he's been able to do in his lifetime.
Do you think we're at a point where it's impossible to accomplish that because golf has become so popular that whereas before it was maybe a little bit more open? Do you think it's maybe a little bit more closed down with security and everything else because of the popularity and the large fan base that has developed around the game?
Impossible, I don't think. Hard, yes, definitely. I mean, it's definitely hard to duplicate or, do what he's done.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you'll see that, there'll be a couple golfers out there that, who emulate him and understand that, like, he was the king. That will come out and try to approach life and golf and all that in a sort of the same manner that he did it. I think there'll be a few, but there'll be none like him.
Where would you rank
He was
Arnold?
just amazing.
Where would you rank him in as far as comparing other legendary golfers throughout history? Where would you rank his actual play?
Number one.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Over Jack Nicklaus?
I mean, not as far as records go, but as far as what he's been able to do with golf on the main stage, there isn't anybody out there that has been able to, that has the resume that he has. He took golf from a sport that no one really watched or even cared about. He took it and he blew it up and put it on the main stage. He founded the Golf Channel. So that in itself, that gives us 24-hour coverage. We never had that before Arnold Palmer. I mean, that in itself is one of, I think, his greatest accomplishments.
Yeah, definitely. What you do for the game at large definitely says a lot about who you are as a person, what you've been able to accomplish.
As far as from like a playing side, he won 7 majors, which there's only a few guys that have won more majors than him. I think Jack.
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus.
And Tiger Woods.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the list is short after that. There may be one or two others that are up there. He won 62 PGA Tour events, which is a pretty high number.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's definitely top 10 up there. And but when he lost, he was a gracious loser. He would come over and shake your hand. He would give you a hug. You just beat him. He's competitive, just like all us Pittsburgh people. He doesn't want to lose. He never wanted to lose a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He always fought till the end. So a guy that puts it all out there, he goes for broke. He never holds back. You never really lose. If you lost and you gave it your all, you came up a little bit short, but you didn't necessarily lose. And I respect him for the way he played, his style of play. Basically, who he was, to me, was more important than how he played.
And now you've played competitively. Talk about some of your accomplishments and what you've done, and living here in southwestern Pennsylvania in kind of the golf culture that Arnold Palmer created.
Right. I mean, I started golf when I was young. I was about 3. My dad cut me down a club. I would remember watching another star from the area, local, not as big, but still big in his own right, Rocco Mediate. I went to a clinic when I was younger, and Rocco was there, and he's the only other guy from this area that is well renowned for playing on the PGA Tour, and it's just what Arnold's been able to do as far as this area, generating golf enthusiasts, activists, people that go out and play the game on a day-to-day basis, or say 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been amazing because where we live in Southwest PA, there's well over 100 golf courses that are accessible. And I don't believe that we would have the opportunities that we have today if it weren't for him putting golf out there, first tee, doing all the things that he's been able to do in his lifetime. It's really opened up the gate for blue-collar workers, not so much country club anymore, only. Guys can come out and find a tee time, book a tee time, get out to the course, play around, enjoy it, have a couple of drinks afterwards, do whatever, invite your friends out. And as far as my accomplishments go with golf, I've won at a junior level, I've won on a collegiate level, and I've just recently started competing on the higher levels, which due to due to what Mr. Palmer's been able to do, it is the toughest competition on the planet when it comes to going out and playing golf.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got to bring your A game, and you know that when you tee up. You know when you tee up, you're playing yourself, you're playing the course, but you're also playing stiff competition. So, like I said, I did a few events. I traveled to Florida in the winter, and then last year, and then I played again this year throughout the summer. Each year is a little bit different. I mean, sometimes you do really well, you have a good year. Sometimes you do not so good, and then you're reflecting on it. But it's a game that I've always enjoyed. I've always gone to these tournaments with high expectations, you know, and played it from the first tee all the way to the final putt of the last hole. You know, leave it all out there. And I'd like to credit some of that to the style of play that he had. He went out, first swing, bash it out there as far as you can, you know, get started, go out there, do your thing, you know, hold on to it, hold it together as long as you can, and, you know, make as many birdies as you can.
Very cool, Matt. Thank you very much. I appreciate the time. And what do you have planned next for your golf career? What's up next for you?
Well, I plan on working this fall. I got a membership at a local club, or one country club. It's pretty much been my home my entire life. I've lived in Westmoreland County, and I just go out there. The members out there are great. The facility's nice. I go out there. I practice as much as I can, and come this winter, start back up. Head down to Florida, play in some tournaments down there. They have a great, they've got a great developmental tour down there, known as the Minor League Golf Tour. I'm going to play some events in that, and we'll see from there.
All right, very cool. Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
Absolutely. That's Matt Gribshaw. Great guy, great golfer. I actually played against him in the past, kind of. We were part of the same church, and the church would have an annual golf outing for the church, and his team usually ended up winning the tournament, either first place or second place, and it was a scramble, so it wasn't just all him, it was everybody in the team, and I think they almost always won first place. My team was the reigning champs for last place in the tournament, but it was always a good time either way. We got your holiday of the day, and we're going to end the show up with that, as always, right now, here on the River's Edge. So today is actually, there's two interesting holidays today that we can celebrate. Woo! It's National Pancake Day. So I'm very fortunate where I'm surrounded by phenomenal pancakes living here in Millville with Pamela's, Millville Diner, there's the places, DeLuca's, there's Kellio's, all sorts of good places that I can realistically walk to if I really wanted to. So today's National Pancake Day. It's still time for brunch, so you could still find somewhere to eat, I am sure. So we've got that. And also today is National Shamu the Whale Day. Woo! That's right, National Shamu the Whale Day today on September the 26th. If you're looking for a reason to celebrate, a real reason to celebrate, well, you've got National Podcast Day, International Podcast Day, September 30th, the Pod Crawl. I will be there at the Double L Bar. Be number 3 or number 4 on the list. We've got Mike Sasson to kick things off at Cousins, drinking partners at Grist House. I will be there at the Double L with Bold Pittsburgh and Bold Nights Out. Awesome Cast. You've got Awesome Cast at Smokies and the Jagoff podcast at Sidelines Bar and Grill down the street. And I'm actually kind of awake today. I got like 4 hours before I came in of sleep. I am just ready to go. I'm ripe with energy. And now I get to go outside in this cool temperature. Bring back my summer! I will catch you Wednesday right here at riversedgepgh.com.